Hey everybody, Brian here from quantlabs.net. Got lots of events happening over the last few days concerning cryptocurrency. Today is the 15th. This story came out last week, actually yesterday it looks like. Last week the South Korean government announced they are drafting new resolutions to somehow regulate cryptocurrency. Looks like it's now hitting. Basically, what they're doing is they are enforcing banks when there's virtual deposits made into people's accounts. They have to be associated with real identities. Otherwise, they get fined as well. Couldn't find it probably right now, but you can get jailed as well if you trade anonymously right here. Crypto traders are able to trade anonymously by using virtual accounts. So now they're clamping down on it. I think you'll be finding this more and more throughout the West as the West gets more desperate for cash and trying to regulate this thing called cryptocurrency. All right, so I think the next best is to go back to the famous Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan, says that if you put money into Bitcoin, it's a fraud. You'll lose all your money. And I just checked the price. It looks like Bitcoin has held pretty steady over the last few days. It has dipped down to about 13K, 13K Canadian, and then it's come back almost to 18. So, um, you know, I guess what he's saying here, it's just his way of trying to poo-poo the currency technology because it's going to infringe on his business and his future. So he's just trying to legitimize the current the technology behind it, mainly the blockchain. Then we move into this story about Quantopia and how they're looking for the new I can never say this Vitalik Buterin, the founder of Ethereum, and how the CEO founder of Quantopia and John Foss is looking for the proper candidates, or he was saying that maybe a lot of investment banks or any hedge fund might limit their uh, number of candidates from 5 or 20 or 40, but he feels his platform's got a lot of people that will attract the same level. Um, Here's a note for you. They may have changed this, but last I heard they only give out 10% of your algorithm on the returns that it performs. And if you want something similar to their platform, one good one, if it's just Forex, you can definitely just play around with, like in my case, Duca's Copy J Forex. All right, so one last story, which is a good one, I guess, for Goldman Sachs, where they say Bitcoin is the new gold, better safe haven. That's from Goldman Sachs. Now, I guess this is the CEO, Lloyd Blankfein, and I think that he's coming around because his clients are wanting in, and they're going to start looking for alternative areas to use to get into these cryptos. I think it's not about the asset itself, about the performance. It's more about the demand is so huge that people want in. So, what has happened is there's been some comments on these posts, which were originally put on my my Facebook group. So here's a couple of that story regarding how on CCN Goldman thinks it's the new gold. A couple of comments was without custody security, they are right. Another one said they're built up a sizable long position over the past months, and the break even is closer to 16 or 17K. This is a desperate attempt to pump and dump. Watch out for the con and do not get suckered in. Miners are already churning faster than demand, and it'll all normalize on the Bitcoin front this year. No more insane gains. That is probably very true, or at least there'll be more volatility of not just going up, but obviously up and down. This is so cool. Then the fair value of one Bitcoin would become greater than $1, 400,000. The other one that I don't think I mentioned here about the Doge, this one currency that was a no name, this Doge coin. This guy put $50 in, and the float has now hit a market cap of $2 billion over the last few days. People couldn't believe the hype of this, so there's this article on that. You'll be able to get in my blog post. There's a comment about that. So his Joe cryptocurrency hit 2 billion and something is very wrong. Hope he kept some Doge for himself. How fiat works, how the human economy works is even more cryptic. Now again, this is from Facebook comments. Logical and parasitic, and then commensal. Given none of the other animals depend on this method of viability. Banks borrow with less rate and lend at higher rates. If this can work, then why not Doge? Reality is money is a human fairy tale. Anything is possible, even a Doge. Okay. Here's a link for that, for that link up there. Now, as I mentioned about the Jamie Dimon regrets calling Bitcoin a fraud, believes that the technology of the blockchain, it's not his fault. This man has been used more because of Bitcoin than any of his company's achievements. Cryptocurrency investors who did not do the research did not know that a JP Morgan was heavily invested in the Ethereum Alliance, and they failed to question why the CEO of JP Morgan, just another private, became the official Bitcoin doomsayer. Ooh, conspiracy. Anyways, that's what's going on. But for me, this new law in South Korea is the one to really watch. And obviously, this could legitimize the cryptocurrency movement as well. All right, so I'll put the links in the blog and Let me know what you think later.